Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Mark Bishop show. You never know what you're going to get. As we say, the old cliche, it's like a box of chocolates. I try to keep it diverse. I'm interested in people that got great stories to tell, something happy to share, entrepreneurs, business people, yes, thought leaders, and today's a bit different as well. The lady is Monica Irazqui. I got that right. She's vice president of Yampu Tours, who designs custom tours, not cruise ship stuff, but Latin America, Africa, Southeast Asia, Europe, and South Asia. So very interesting, lovely lady, and been 27 years in this business, a specialty for travel. So something a little bit different. So I'd like to welcome this young lady. Hello, Monica. Nice to have you.
Thank you for having me, Mark. Such a pleasure to be on your show.
I've had one of these days, man. There's powers going off, and we've had a lot of lightning. I think there's a monsoon due soon. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, we're here now, and that's the way it is. You're originally from Indiana and Alabama.
Correct.
An Indiana University alumna who has lived in Honolulu, New York City, Miami Beach, Stowe, Hillsdale, and this one that was interesting, Ojai.
Ojai.
Ojai. Where is that? Where is that?
It's in Southern California, north of Los Angeles, a little bit south of Santa Barbara, in the mountains. We have mountains surrounding us, and they turn pink when the sun sets. It's very beautiful here.
Oh, it sounds a gorgeous place to go to, like a retreat place, isn't
it? Yeah, a lot of people come here on vacation.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get there one day. I haven't seen much of that West Coast. I'd like to do the run right up after do Frisco and go to that famous fish joint, the restaurants there, and then go right up to Humboldt, see some old friends of mine.
Yeah, that's a beautiful drive.
Okay, welcome. And you seek out authentic experiences for families, adventurers, honeymooners, and CEOs, people from all walks of life, right?
That's correct.
How did you get into the game in the first place?
My husband and I traveled to Machu Picchu in 1998 together, and we booked a little package to Machu Picchu, and it's a kind of a long story. He was going to open a shoe store, but the lawyer wouldn't let us sign the lease, and his second idea was selling tours to Peru. So we, were scouted out everything that we wanted to offer to our clients in Peru, opened a website. Back then you could pay per click, and it was like 2 cents, like $5 a click now. But back then it was like 2 cents, and we put our page up there, and people started calling, and just started selling every little bit of Peru, which is a fabulous country. You could go there for a month easily and not see everything. And so, that's how we started in 1998. And every year as we traveled to new places, we would add new countries. And now we have more than 40 countries that we sell.
Wow. 40 countries for all, because everybody's different. I guess they want different things. You believe that travel itself fosters peace through cultural exchange and giving back. Okay, what do you mean by that?
Well, when I was in my 20s, I went to church in Hawaii, and the pastor had just gotten back from this tour to Asia. And he had met with Muslims and Buddhists and Sikh, all different kinds of religions, and sat down with their leaders and talked to them about what their religion is about. And he said to us, and this is the first time I'd ever heard this, that it was okay to get to know people with other religions, because you know what? We're so close in what we believe. It's just got different names, Mm-hmm. And to hear this from our pastor was really eye-opening to me. And now when I travel, I try to get to know people, learn about, how they live, what they believe. Just having breakfast is, at a guide's home in Bali, or, going to learn to meditate in Japan. All these things that we do around the world that make me a better and more diverse person. And it opens my heart to loving everyone in the world and not just people like me. And I think it's very important in this day and age to have that kind of mindset.
It is. It's nice to hear it. I mean, you've co-owned this travel company for 27 years now. Mm-hmm. All started off in Peru.
Yeah.
You must have some sort of philosophy, which you've shared sort of most of it, but what's the back end for you? I mean, it's not all about the money, is it?
No, it really isn't. I live vicariously through the tours that I create for clients. And my team, I always said to them, for example, Peru, I said, okay, everyone wants to go to Peru to see Machu Picchu, but I want them coming home and saying, I love the people. I love the food. The nature was way more gorgeous than I thought. I had no idea there were 6 kinds of alpacas. I want them to come home with way more things that they didn't even know to ask. You can't ask GPT the stuff that we have learned through experience, because you don't know what question to ask. And I want all of my staff to create unique and diverse and really experiential tours for the clients.
Very different, because I think people today too, they're looking for something different, aren't they? Yampu travel counselors, from what I was reading, they work very closely with their clients to help them select the right trip. I mean, that's the start. It has to suit the budget. It has to suit their interests. Right.
That's correct.
It's not just booking airlines and whacking you on a cruise. It's sort of in-depth research, isn't it? There's a bit of psychology involved here.
I think all of us think that we're artists. We take the interests of the client, and that's the subject. And then we take all of the wonderful information that we've learned and all these great experts and people on the ground that are interesting and unique and have a specialty, and we put them together with the clients. For example, a shaman. I had a client that was really interested in spiritual tours, and so we hired one of the old school shamans, somebody that's been around for more than 30 years, doing this, to take them out to the same ruins that all the tourists go to, but to see it from a different perspective.
Right.
So we're trying to always, and I never sell anything off the website. If you go look at the website, it's not what I actually sell. Because each client is different. I have some clients that say to me, Monica, I don't want to leave my hotel till 9. And so I plan his whole tour around the fact that he's not leaving his hotel room early in the morning, because a lot of our tours do have you're up at 7:30 and you're out, so for him it's different. I have that in mind. He's more of a city person. He loves great meals and great massages, and I'm looking for the best room in the hotel for him, and not just an entry-level room. So each client is different. I had some girls that were in their 20s that wanted to go to Bali, and I actually had my daughter help me because she had done the backpacking version of what I did. I've always done in Bali. And so we worked together on that. And then the mom saw the itinerary and thought, this is so great. I want to do it too. So then I had to upgrade all the hotels because mom was coming. But they went down the river in Indonesia to see the orangutans on a houseboat, which I was really worried was going to be too basic for the mom, because even the best houseboat is still a little basic. But you're in, Borneo of Indonesia on a houseboat of people that just want to take care of you, and you're seeing these great rainforest. It's amazing.
Beautiful.
And
the rain tree in Australia is lovely too. The rain tree rainforest.
Oh,
Daintree,
yeah.
Daintree,
Yeah.
right? It's
I've
beautiful.
put clients there. They love that. It's so gorgeous, you know?
It's gorgeous. A lot of Aussies go to Bali, of course. You know, they go for weekends from Perth. It's that darn close on a flight, and it's further if you're coming from the east coast, from Brisbane, Sydney, or Melbourne. Not so much Brisbane, but Sydney and Melbourne. But I've been to Bali a few times, and things have changed over the years. I remember when I backpacked first time to Koh Samui, and there was nothing there.
Oh, it's
There
so
was no
busy now.
resort, there was nothing, just backpackers. And, now you go out on the longboats, of course, to get to beautiful resorts and so on.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
all
The
good.
White Lotus just filmed there. So it's really busy right
That's
there right
really, my
now.
wife loves their thing. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I rather like it. I didn't like the second series as much as the first, but
Yeah.
that's where they filmed it. Interesting.
Yeah. The
Um,
last ones. I think it
so
was season
clients
3.
sorry, saying,
I think it was season 3.
are we sure? Are you sure? 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, the music was different, I think, and anyway, doesn't matter.
Because 2 was in Sicily. And where was the first one?
It was in Sicily. You
I think
sure?
the second one was Sicily. I think the third one was Koh Samui, the one that just came out. And I forget what the first one was. Was it Hawaii? I don't remember what the first one was. I don't remember the first one.
Indonesia to me. It looked
Yeah.
Indonesian to me, to be honest with you.
Maybe.
Anyway, clients can book the suggested tours outlined in Yampu's brochure and your website, but they also have the flexibility to mix and match elements, right? How does that work?
So basically, I'm going to sit down with them and find out everything that they like and really get to know them first. This is the number one thing. And then we'll figure out how many days they have. And based on what they told me about what they like to do, I might suggest the best places in that country for that interest.
Okay.
So every client, after I have that talk, will get a different itinerary. And of course, there's routes that work, but the day-to-day activities may be different based on their interests and budget. So yeah, it's really personalized. The website is to advertise us, but what the client actually does is rarely straight off the website.
Okay, I must put that up for you too. I think that's it there. No, that's your email. If someone does want to talk to you, you're open to that. They can talk to you directly.
Yes.
Monica@yampu.com, right?
That's correct. And if they give me their phone number, I give them a call back. My phone number is also on the website.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's the website. Ladies and gentlemen, yampu.com. Pretty simple, isn't it? Nice and short. Yampu.com. Yampu. Where did that name come from?
So it comes from the Andes up in Lake Titicaca, which is on the border of Peru and Bolivia. The raft was built that was used in the Kon-Tiki novel. It's a raft made out of reeds. I don't know if you've ever seen the floating Isles of Euros, which are islands that are made of the reed and they float. And the boat is also made of that. And the Quechua word for that boat is Yampu.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. I remember a documentary once on the Kon-Tiki.
Yeah.
That was fascinating stuff too. And my guest, ladies and gentlemen, is Monica Irazqui. Irazqui. It's a tough one. What nationality is that?
So my husband is Peruvian, but his name is Basque. His grandfather came from the Basque region of Spain.
Tours, explorations, suited to your specific interests. Let's talk about adventure, sport, kayaking, hiking, fishing, skiing, ecotourism. Okay, what's an example of ecotourism? Where would you go?
Well, Costa Rica has one of the best ecotourism infrastructures in the world. They have created so many parks that are protected there. So much land is protected. And in the last 20 years, the lodges have done such a great job of building like a resort, kind of like a lodge where it's self-sustainable,
Okay.
so they
Okay.
may use solar power for powering it.
Mhm.
They do, I guess, farm to table. They don't call it that. It's not that fancy, but they getting their food right there from the ocean and from their
Yeah.
own farm that they have on the
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
They do wonderful excursions in the forest there, and they teach you about the plants and animals and birds. And then we also have wildlife guides in Costa Rica. If you're really serious about seeing wildlife, we'll take our specialized wildlife guide with you, and they have like these scopes, and you can put your camera in the scope and get like really fabulous photos and videos.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
some of the most exotic birds and wildlife, right there in Costa Rica, which can be a 4-hour flight, from New York City or LA, or,
Right.
so it's really easy to get to.
So let me ask you this then, because I've got a friend that goes all the time. I haven't been to Costa Rica yet. I hear it's pretty cool,
Yeah.
and affordable. What's the name of the most popular beach there?
Popular beach, I cannot tell you. I mean, there's
A lot of
so
tourists.
many beaches there, and
Oh, there
depends
are.
on
Oh, you beach. Yeah.
why you're going. Like Nosara is great for surfing, for beginner surfing. If you're intermediate or advanced, Santa Teresa is a beautiful beach for more advanced surfing. I know that a lot of people go to Jocko Beach. I've never sent a client to Jocko Beach. That's where the massive tourists go, the big
We don't want
resort.
that.
Forget it.
All
We're
right.
not doing that with
So
Yampu.
you touched on wildlife, spiritual, holistic healing, spa, and yoga. There are places just to do that, right?
Yes, absolutely. I love to send people into the mountains in Costa Rica. So every itinerary that I do will have either Arenal or going near Pawas volcano. There's El Silencio, which is wonderful for yoga. Nayara Tinted Camp is very luxurious. It's over by the Arenal volcano. And then, of course, there's smaller, less known ones that are a little bit more budget that we can use. So, yeah, we're always doing that. And then again, Nasara is great for if you want to do like yoga or breathing ceremonies or anything like that. It's that kind of community over there.
Now, snorkeling, scuba, culinary, wine, family, sun and beach, wedding honeymoons. How many couples do you get for that?
I get a lot of honeymoons. In fact, it's really fun because I've done a lot of family trips over the years, and now the kids are growing up and booking their honeymoons with me.
Wow.
And I really think that's just such a neat.
Wow, boy, you don't have to mark much when that happens. Off the beaten path. How did you build all the connections that you need? I'm going to show some pics, if it's all right with you.
Sure.
I got to think here what I got to do. This one here as an example. That'll do until I get to you.
That's Gstaad, Switzerland. And so we build our connections just over time. It's a lot of work, a lot of getting out there and meeting people.
People you can trust. Is that right?
Pardon me?
People you can trust.
Yes, that's super important. And I'm always traveling to make sure that I can trust the team that's on the ground, hotels. And also, if a client sends me a complaint, I take it really seriously. So like there's hotels that I stopped using because they didn't respond well to a complaint. They tried to blame the client. And so if that happens, I just don't send you any more clients. I want to work with, I'm very accountable, and the people that I work with need to be accountable. And so, and that's why we have 90% of our clients are repeat clients or referrals.
Right. Well, that's good. What is this Africa Collection Jazz all about?
This was, I went to a show in London. I believe it was a London Times show, and I was a speaker on how to talk to a person like me. about planning your safari. So because you guys need to know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
And so my speech was about what questions you should be asking and what your considerations should be when planning a safari. And so that's how I got the attention of this magazine, and was they took pictures. I sent them that picture, and then they talked to me about it, and that's how I got into that magazine.
So Peru, we've got to look at this. What a beautiful llama.
Yeah. And this was like wandering around a hotel, and I don't know why animals seemed to love me. And so I was having a little connection with the llama at that moment.
Right. Very nice. Yeah. It's pretty popular in Australia now. People are breeding llamas.
That's really nice.
They're doing it in America as well. They're pretty resilient, from what I believe. All sorts of things. But what's the wool like? Is it called wool off a llama, same as a sheep?
I think so.
It blows up, so it's got to be relatively close to it, right?
Yeah, and they take it off of them, and they turn it into yarn. And there we are. I'm at a weaving studio, and they're teaching me how to weave. And they also taught me how they make the colors, because if you go to Peru and you buy those tapestries, you're going to see, and sweaters and scarves and hats and gloves.
Beautiful.
They make everything out of it.
What's the weather like in Peru, Monica?
Pardon me?
What's the weather like in Peru?
The weather is you want to go to Peru if you're going to the Andes in their winter, because that's dry season. And in the Andes, you're very high altitude. So where I'm taking this picture is probably around 10,000 feet.
Oh.
It's in the Sacred Valley, which is 9,000 to 10,000 feet there. Cusco is 11,000 feet, and Lake Titicaca is 12,000. And so you want to go in the dry season, and it will be cool in the night and in the mornings, but in the daytime, the sun is so strong that it gets in the 70s. So everybody has to wear layers.
In the 70s.
Yeah. And then the Amazon has a different climate, and so does Peru has a desert, the Nazca Desert.
Right.
And so that has a different weather. And so, like they have in the Amazon, it's not called winter or summer. It's called wet or dry season.
Yeah,
and both seasons are great.
It can be like Cairns up in the top end of Australia, and Darwin certain times of the year. What's this shot here? You look as happy as Larry. You've just climbed something, have you?
Yeah, this is Sigiriya Mountain in Sri Lanka, and it's this huge staircase. I must have gone up it before my knees gave out on me, and I could probably do it today, but it would be rough.
Yeah.
Last year I did Huayna Picchu in Machu Picchu, which is like 1,000 foot, at least 1,500 foot gain, a lot of steps, little Inca steps. So this was in Sigiriya, and I was so happy to have gotten up to the top of all those stairs.
Right.
Sri Lanka is a lovely country. Nobody talks about it. Everybody looks at me like I have two heads when I say, go to Sri Lanka.
Why Sri Lanka? I'd like to go to India. I'd like to, experience that part of the world a little more, and Sri Lanka. And I lived in a place called Vanuatu for a few years. That's off the coast of Australia, about 3 hours out into the Pacific Ocean. That's 84 islands, archipelago, absolutely stunning.
That sounds blissful.
White beaches like you wouldn't believe.
Why did you move away?
I think the viewers may know it as maybe the New Hebrides. That's what I studied at school, New Hebrides anyway. But now it's Vanuatu, voted, I think, the happiest place on earth about 5 years ago. Had a lot of trouble lately with blessed cyclones and God knows what else. It's very difficult for them, but it is a stunning place. So 2025, with all the crap that's going on around us, where do you suggest people travel for the rest of 2025?
I think that Central and South America is easy. It seems to be, I should knock on wood, out of the fray for the moment. And it's once you get there, you just feel so at peace. I went to South America after 9/11. I went to Central America during COVID. And these were times that were very stressful for me. And so I was so happy to just be there, where I'm too busy to watch the news or listen to the news all day. If you want to get away from it all, go into the Amazon of Ecuador or Peru.
Yeah.
Would be one option.
Up by one of those 50-foot snakes or whatever it is.
Well, we have luxury lodges and luxury boats that you'd be on. So you may see one of those anacondas, but you're probably not going to.
You don't have to worry. If you're in bed or something's not going to crawl in, right?
No. We have they have mosquito nets over the beds.
Oh,
there are some Amazon lodges in Peru that have the window doesn't close. It's open to the rainforest right there. And that's a little bit more rustic. My clients go to one that does close, like a tented camp like in Africa. And Africa would be another great place to go right now.
Rustic's lovely until something crawls in the door, crawls in the window, whatever it is. Hey, if someone wants to get away from news and stress, what's your first choice right now? What would you suggest?
I would say Inca Trail. Go hiking.
Where?
The Inca Trail.
The Inca Trail.
Yeah, go hiking. Get out of your comfort zone. Africa. Go on safari.
They're safe, right?
Yeah, the safaris are really safe. When you're out in the bush, you do not have cell service. And when you're back in the lodge, you have cell service, but you don't have a lot. So you're not going to be streaming like the news. They don't have TVs in your room. You're just going to be up at 5 a.m. going on game drives, come back, have a beautiful breakfast, take a swim, and then go out on another game drive. You can do balloon safaris over the Serengeti or the Masai Mara. All this, everywhere you go. I went for a month with my teenagers, and when they didn't even want to be traveling anymore with us because we're boring. And I took them from lodge to lodge, from camp to camp, because I wanted to see them all so I'd know which one to recommend to clients. And they weren't complaining. They were happy because even when you were traveling from lodge to lodge, you see elephants and lions and cheetahs and
a little bit different to seeing them on the screen, correct?
Yeah. Oh my God, so much better. I mean,
we're just about out of time, but what I'd like to do is ask you a couple of quick questions, right, before we round off.
Okay.
If you could bring in a new niche of clients, who would you want to attract right now in 1 minute?
I would like to attract people who want to see wildlife because I'm so passionate about it. It's so fun for me, and I've experienced so much all over the world. I'd love to be able to have more people that want to bird watch. They want to see a specific animal, and they tell me, Monica, get me to see a cheetah, I love elephants, and I would just love to have more people to plan those kind of really fun experience, bucket list, once in a lifetime experiences for.
Well, you bubble with your job. What makes you so proud and happy at the job, you think? Your philosophy overall, or is it?
I have this wonderful job that I get to make people happy all day, and I research and I work and I put together an itinerary. Our operations department is great at finding any kind of mistake before it happens, so everything runs smoothly. Of course, in traffic travel, something always happens, and we're here to help when that happens. But I just love making people happy. I love when they call me up and say, Monica, this was so beautiful of a trip. We never had a trip like this. Thank you so much. That's what I want. I want.
You cover everything, medical. If someone loses their passport, things like this do happen, don't they?
Yes, and we keep copies of their passport, so we have that for them. we take their airline, all the airfare that they have. If like on the last trip that I had some clients on, they were in a cruise and everybody was struggling to get the Wi-Fi so that because a flight had been changed. And my clients were like, no problem. My agent already changed it for us. She's taking care of it. We didn't even know there was a change, and so that's what we do.
That's amazing. Well, good on you. 27 years from absolutely nothing. I love positive stories from a point of view of, entrepreneurs building from scratch and achieving what you've done. And that's credit to both of you. And so you married a Peruvian. Is that the pronunciation?
Yes, that's correct.
Person from Peru?
Yes, he's from Peru.
Very good. Fabulous. All right. Well, look, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, Monica.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. And, take care. And if I can figure this thing out here, I'll say goodbye to you.
All right. Au revoir. Ciao.
Bye-bye. Ah, what a lovely lady. Tell you what, I wish I had a producer, fair income. I could just focus on research and study. But dear. Yeah, terrific. Yampu travel, keep it in mind. Off the beaten track type stuff, you know what I mean? I've really massaged into what you're looking for, what you really want. Tons to choose from by the sounds of things. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Something a little different on the Mark Bishop Show. Box of Chuckies. What do we have today? Well, maybe a soft cream today. Who knows? Good luck. We'll see you soon. Okay.